the ratio of y over x, any y over its x, is a constant m, which m we know is slope. We say y varies directly with x. So you're going to write varies here. Sorry, that's off to the side. So you're going to write varies here, directly with x. And the direct variation equation is y equals mx, where m is slope, and we've got x and y here, or any y over its x. So when you put the y over x, if it's a direct variation, that will actually, when simplified, become slope. So in this case, where m is slope, and m can't actually be 0. So we're not talking about a horizontal line here. All right, so a direct variation example would be this here. You have the amount of money that Robin earns while babysitting varies directly with the time as shown in the graph. Determine the amount that Robin earns per hour. Okay, so obviously it starts at 0, 0. We know that it's proportional. That means it's a direct variation. If it starts at the origin, it's a direct variation. It's proportional and direct variation, they both mean the same thing. So in this case, if Robin babysits 0 hours, she makes $0. So if you can see, we've got these different points here on the graph, and it actually points out to use 215 because that's a clear dot, to use 430 because that's a clear dot. There's another one in there. So all we need to do here is determine the amount that Robin earns per hour, or the unit rate, by finding the constant variation. So all we have to do is use our rate of change. So it starts at 0 and it goes up very clearly, crossing here at 30. So it went up 30 and over 2. So you can just go ahead and write that as a fraction. Remember that we're going to put the amount she earned on top, because it says that the amount she earns varies directly with the time. So varies directly, when it says that, it's the first thing it says is the top, and then the second thing it says is the bottom. So she earned $30 in 2 hours. So we're going to write 30, sorry, that's off to the side. Let me write it over, let me scroll more. Okay, so she earned $30 in 2 hours. So it'd be 30 over 2. And then we're just going to go ahead and simplify 30 ABC2 on our calculator. And this actually ends up being 15. And then we're going to mark this as dollars. It's going to be $15 per hour. $15 per hour. Okay, all of these extra fraction bars were if you needed to further simplify. We know it's linear by looking at the graph because it makes a straight line. So this is a linear proportional relationship, also known as a direct variation. Okay, here's a word problem example. So 2 minutes after a skydiver opens his parachute, he's descended 1,900 feet. After 5 minutes, he's descended 4,750 feet. If the distance varies directly with the, I'm sorry, I can't read what it says. The distance varies directly with time. At what rate is the skydiver descending? So distance over time. Distance varying directly with time means distance on top is and time is on the bottom. So when it says varies directly with whatever, the first thing is on top, the second thing is on the bottom. So in this case, we're going to do distance over time. So in this problem, it says 1,900 feet in 2 minutes. So it says 2 minutes, 1,900 feet. So we're going to do distance over time. So we're going to do the 1,900 on top and the 2 on the bottom. You're going to use your calculator and do 1,900 ABC2, and you get 950 feet per minute. And then let's do the second fraction just to make sure that it's the same. So the second fraction was 5 minutes, 47:50. So I'm going to do 47:50 over 5, and go ahead and do that on my calculator. 47:50 ABC 5, and I get 950 again. All right, so we know that it is actually indeed 950 feet per minute. That's the rate at which the skydiver is descending. Not only is that the direct variation rate, but it's also the slope or the constant rate of change or all those things. Remember, slope is this many different identities, but all being the same thing. So it's a direct variation because it starts at 0, 0, and then 950 feet per minute is what is happening here in this direct variation. Okay, so now that we've got that figured out, let's go back to the goal sheet that you wrote from the picture earlier, and that is in the materials. So if you didn't write this down, pause the video, go back to the other tab and get into the materials, and there's a picture of this that you can copy this down. This is your goal sheet for today. So we're going to go to number 3 first, because that's another problem like what we were just talking about, and then I'm going to talk about these varies directly problems. Okay, so color printer prints 36 pages in 3 minutes and 108 pages in 9 minutes. If the number of pages varies directly with the time, so that means pages over time, because varies directly with, you do what's first on the top and what's second on the bottom. So number of pages on top, time on the bottom, pages per minute. At what rate is the printer printing? So we're going to take both of them and make the fractions and simplify, making sure that they're the same. The first one was 36 pages in 3 minutes. So I'm going to do 36 over 3, and I'm going to simplify that. So you're going to take your calculator, and you're going to do 36 ABC 3, and that gives you 12. This 12 means 12 pages per minute. Okay, then let's do the second fraction to make sure it's 12 pages per minute. So the next one was 108 pages in 9 minutes. So you're going to do 108 over 9, and again you're going to simplify. 108 ABC 9, and again I got 12. So I know I'm on the right track, that 12 pages per minute is correct. So that is the rate. Okay, so when you have a direct variation, there are also these equations where you're given parts of the information, and you know the equation is y equals mx, and you just have to solve for it. So direct variation equation is y equals mx, and that was on your earlier graphic that I showed you. So I'm going to go ahead and write that here. The direct variation equation is y equals mx. By the way, it's very exciting that you're learning this, because you're on your way to the algebraic equation that you're going to be working with for most of the year. So y equals mx is our direct variation equation. So when you're given knowns and unknowns, you can plug in the parts and find what you don't know. So if you look at this one, it says if y equals 8 when x equals 20. So we're going to write that. We're going to put y is 8, and then m is unknown, and x equals 20. I'm putting that in parentheses because we don't normally write m20. We normally write 20m. All right, find y when x equals 10. So what we first need to do is find m, and then plug that back in when x equals 10. Okay, so m is multiplying with 20, so the way that you solve it, it's one-step equation. You're just going to divide both sides by 20. Okay, when you do that on this side, it cancels out and we're just left with m. And then on this side, we just need to simplify 8/20. So you're going to do 8 ABC 20, and you get 2/5. Okay, so m is 2/5 here. So we have to use 2/5 to be able to find the next part. It says find y when x equals 10. So So what we don't know is y. It says find y. So we're going to put y equals, and then m, right here we learned was 2/5. So you're going to write 2/5, and then x is going to be, find y when x equals 10. Okay, since we're not solving over here, we're just solving this, we literally just multiply that. So take your calculator and do 2ABC5 times 10, and I got the answer y equals 4. And that's it. So we found m was 2/5 and y equals 4. We can do it again with the goal sheet up top. Okay, up in the goal sheet, it says if y varies directly with x, if y equals negative 12, when x equals 9, find y when x equals negative 4. So our direct variation equation is y equals mx. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in what I know. I know negative 12, and I know that's y, and I know x is 9. I'm looking for m. So I'm going to do y equals mx, negative 12 equals m I don't know, x is 9. Okay, and then this is a one-step equation. I'm going to divide both sides by 9, divide by 9, divide by 9. That leaves me with m on this side. And then over here, I get negative 12/9. We want to actually simplify that. It's going to be improper, so you need to do second ABC. So you're going to do negative 12, ABC 9. It gives you a mixed number. You're going to do second ABC, and you get negative 4/3. So m here is negative 4/3. That's m. Now we need to find, it says, find y when x equals negative 4. So we're going to do, we don't know y, so we're going to do y, we're going to do y equals, and then we know negative 4/3, and then x is negative 4. Okay, then I just simply multiply. So I'm going to take my calculator and do negative 4/3 times negative 4, and I get a mixed number. So I'm going to do second ABC, enter, and I get 16/3. So y equals 16/3. The reason why it's positive is because a negative times a negative is a positive. All right, so I get 16/3, and that's my answer for number 1. Number 2, if y equals negative 6 when x equals negative 14, find x when y equals negative 4. Again, our equation is y equals mx. We know y and x here. So I'm going to do, y is actually negative 6. So I'm going to do negative 6 equals m and times negative 14. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 14. And that gives me negative over a negative is a positive. So I'm going to do 6 ABC 14. And it gives me 3/7. A negative over a negative is a positive. That's how I got 3/7 instead of negative over negative. All right, so m is 3/7. Now we're going to plug that m in to find x when y is negative 4. So I know that y is negative 4. So negative 4 equals m, which is 3/7, and x, which we are finding, we don't know. Now, we are actually solving for x here. Over here, we knew x and we knew m. Over here, we know y and m. We don't know x. What do you do when a fraction is touching a variable? You use the multiplicative inverse. So in other words, we're going to multiply both sides by 7/3. So we're going to multiply this by 7/3. And we're going to multiply the other by 7/3. And that's going to cross this out and give me x over here. And then I'm going to do 7ABC3 times negative 4. And I'm getting a mixed number, so I'm going to do second ABC, enter. And my answer is going to be negative 28/3 is my answer to x. All right, so I know that's kind of a lot there, but you guys are going to be working on the worksheet next. If you need to replay the video or pause the video, you can